Hey everyone. Welcome back to the shop. Uh, Version 1.8.322.47 dot start date 1133. I don't know. Um, Still working on the other shop. Good news, and I'll show you guys some of the good news why I've been so busy and why I haven't been with you guys. Part of the reason is I'm still trying to find Rockstar down here. It's difficult. Mm. It sure would be nice to get a pallet of this. Anyway, um, we've got a cool new tool for this smaller version of the shop until the other shop gets built. So, in order to help out with lug nuts and keeping tires inflated and all that other stuff, we got. Well, I guess it goes this way. It's weird that you have to haul it backwards, but we got a new air compressor. It is a it is a 20-gallon, super quiet. I guess you guys can't really see it back there. Hard to work backwards. 20-gallon. It was used, but it was never used. The guy plugged it in once to make sure it worked and never used it again. This is going to be the perfect size for this shop. Not using it continually throughout the day, so I don't need one of my big, huge air compressors that I have back at the shop in Ohio. This one worked great for here in the garage. Can do the motorcycles, can do the cars, no problem. Can run all the air tools that I need. This will work great. He'll get stored outside, little storage shed over him. The air lines will run up, and there's an air hose reel that are going between the garages. So I'm pretty excited about this guy. And I did run a test on him. Whoa. He is still at 135 psi. He was at 150 day before yesterday. So he's lost a little tiny bit of pressure, but that's mostly because the weather changed, I think. It's been cold here. We had really nice storms rip through here this morning. Everything's okay. My lawn got watered, but I got palm fronds all over that I got to take care of, and it got really cold. For Florida, it got cold. Oh, hey, Liz. Yeah, the weather has changed dramatically over the last 2 days, so it's been kind of overcast and gross all day. Trying to make the most of it, but the good news is the rest of the PowerGrips arrived for the Miata. So I wanted to show you guys because I only had the one size. So now I have the other ones, and I haven't installed them yet, but I also wanted to give you some tips on how to do them, how to set them up on the hoses before you heat them up and clamp them down, because they are a one-time use only thing. So we'll probably do this in, this will be the second part. So we'll probably do a third part showing installing them and I don't know, maybe taking one off. It's pretty simple. You just cut it off. It's not brain surgery. You don't need special tools. If you have a pair of wire cutters or a razor blade, you can take it off. So let me show you guys these things. I'll show you the different sizes. So this is the little guy we got. This is the 15 mil. And it says shrink range 1/2 inch to 13/16. So not a, 11/16. Not a huge one. And then got a couple of other sizes here. So there you go. There's kind of 3 different sizes. This is the 15. This is the 25, which is basically 1 inch. And this is the 41, which is basically 1.5 inches, 1 5/8. So these are all, like I said, the part number is it on here? Yeah. The part number is on here. So 329 and then the 41. The 41 is millimeters. So if you're measuring your hose, measure the nominal diameter, and that's what this is going to be. Like when I take this cardboard out, it's going to be 41 millimeters inside there. So you go about 2 millimeters lower than this. That's kind of where it's going to end up. Now they only sell these things individually. Sometimes you can get, like I got lucky. Actually I was supposed to get a 3-pack, but I got a whole ton more. Sometimes you can get like a 3-pack of the little guys, but usually the bigger ones, they come individually and they go much bigger. I think they go up to 6-inch. So this is only, an 1.5 inches. So now, not everybody wants writing on their really nice hose clamps. And what's odd is they have 2 different printings. So they're not all printed at the same place, I don't think, or at least not on the same machine. They actually have 3 different printings. If you look at that guy. So there's 3 different printers that print these. I'm not sure why, but oh, hey, Denise. Oh, cool. I'm not sure why they have 3 different printings, but they do. There's an easy way to get rid of that print, because what you want is a really nice clean look. You don't want to, and also Gates isn't paying us to advertise for them. So I'll show you guys, I showed you in the last video how to get rid of this. And I'll show you on this 1-inch really quick. I just want to put this guy back. It's safe. So what we're going to use this for, this is going to go on our power steering feed line, the 1-inch. And then the 1.5 inches is going to go on our upper radiator hose, down by the thermostat and up at the radiator. And that'll get rid of the hose clamps up there. So put this guy back, and I'll put this guy back. I'll bring you guys over there to the Miata in a second. So this is actually pretty simple. Isopropyl alcohol, you can get this at any store. A spray bottle, you can get it from any Windex, whatever. And spray it onto the paper towel. And then you slowly but surely rotate this around until the alcohol takes off the printing. Takes a few passes, a little bit of elbow grease, and you can also do a cleaning pass because the paint kind of crumbles. And so we can wipe it off. There you go. It doesn't have any more print on him. He's just a straight black hose clamp. So once you know the size, then you can do this. If you're always wondering, they don't print the sizes in here. Just says for vehicle coolant hoses only. It doesn't say anything else in there. They don't print the size in there. So once you know the size, or if you really want to get out calipers and measure, you can. So I'll bring these guys over to you guys and you can take a look. These are our 2 power steering lines that we have done. And you can sort of see how they go on there. Now, these lines are the original 10 mil. And the 10 millimeter line, I don't know why this is tilted down so far, sorry. The original 10 millimeter lines are thicker than, these lines are swollen from being 20 plus years old. So it's a little harder to get them on there. And also the 3/8 line is not quite the same size as, I don't have any, I guess I do have loose ones. Here's a loose one. So it's not quite the same size, and they're, it's a little difficult to get those guys on there. So the trick that I learned to getting these on there is to first up, do some like WD-40 on the hose, and you can use your pinky or whatever to get it on there. And then line it up as best you can on the hose and twist it, slowly twisting it into place. And you'll need to go a little bit past the edge, maybe 1/2 inch past the edge, so that this section grabs on the bead of whatever tube you're inserting. So same thing over here. You can see where the hose clamp sort of dug in over the years. but we're not using that clamp. Here's one of the clamps. So these are the spring clamps that I'm talking about. And normally they go right about here. And okay, they do work okay. The problem is, see this edge right here? That's like a razor blade. And when you're getting in there and you're trying to work on stuff, that thing will just slice your back of your hand open, slice your finger open. I can't count how many times I've had this absolutely open me up. This side is rounded. He's not too bad, the little single tab, but this guy, he'll absolutely slice your finger open. Now, with the PowerGrips, he's not going to slice my finger. He can't. We can try. Maybe if I rub it enough, it'll cut my finger, but he's not going to do that. This also gives you a much cleaner look. These clamps obviously corrode and get a bunch of garbage on them. They work okay. They work fine. But in the case of our power steering line, the clamps don't close down far enough. And that's why we opted to go with the PowerGrips. So we being me, because I'm the only crazy person who does this stuff. Swollen, yeah. When hoses get older, they get brittle, and there's some hoses you can actually just flex and they'll just snap, and then just a crack will form in there and you're done. But these hoses, the OEM braided lines, usually they'll expand over time and contract and expand, and then they expand enough where they just kind of stay that way. And that's what's happened here when you can see the indentation from where the clamp was. Slowly over time, that hose is expanded just from heat, contract, heat, contract, heat, contract. It's expanded, and that's what makes it difficult to get these guys on there, and you have to hold the hose and twist it and lube it up. And since my left thumb doesn't work, it's a little more difficult, but it does work. You can see this guy and this guy, and these are the two booster lines off the PCV. So this goes to, this one goes here to PCV, and this one goes, there's a hard line that runs across the firewall, and this one goes down to the brake booster. So since these were the same size, technically, I did hose clamps on these, plus I had a bunch of extras. So we're gonna clean up as many, hose clamps as we can. So got rid of those two. That just looks nice in the back of the engine bay. The other one we're going to do is, I'm going to put this guy away. And also try not to get hiccups. Ouch. Yes, ouch is bad with those hose clamps. So this guy is our PCV. Pressure for crankcase ventilation. You can see he's split right there, and that's not good. Again, this is just a time thing. This is old tubing. This is not braided tubing. This is just straight PVC tubing, and he's split, and we can get a vacuum leak there. Fortunately, it's on the opposite side of the bead, so it's not vacuum leaking yet, but we can use one of these clamps, put it over that bead, and that will hopefully close this guy down. Now you can see we have a big gap there. Let me see if I can. Yeah. So this gap needs to get filled in. What you can use is you can use cloth tape. It's the same stuff they use for wire looms. And you can cut a piece of cloth tape slightly smaller than the width of this. So just a couple of laps around this will give you the 1 or 2 millimeters extra you need in order for this to clamp down. Now, again, this is a temporary repair. Since I got a bunch of extra of these, I'm going to use them. This is going to be a temporary repair. Eventually, I'll get a whole new piece. But for the time being, this works very quick. You just heat it up with a heat gun, and you're pretty much done. Actually, you know what? I'll show you. I'll just do an example so you guys can see. Because I don't have any of that cloth tape, I have to go get some. So I just have regular masking tape. I'll just show you with masking tape because it's easy to go on and off. So I know where the bead is because I can see the bump. So I'm going to cut the piece of masking tape. Like, I'll just do a really crappy example here by not cutting it and just ripping it. Okay. I'm going to have to clean up after this. All right. So piece goes here, right on that bead. You can actually see it through the tape. Through this tape, you can't. On cloth tape, you won't be able to see it. And you just do a few laps of that. Awesome. And now when you put this guy on, he should totally be hidden by the clamp. He won't be. And it's cool if he's not, as long as he's in the center. Then I've taken up a whole bunch of the space that's between the hose and the clamp with that tape. So now it'll clamp down. So that's how you do it. And for something that's not high pressure, this is very low pressure. If you're doing anything more than, I would say, 20 psi, make sure you use the right hose clamp, or use one of the spring clamps or a worm clamp, whatever is necessary to make sure you get that tight fit. Because if you're dealing with pressure, you don't want it to blow off. That's bad. Only bad things happen. So for this, we're going to use some cloth tape. And again, this is a temporary repair until I can get another one of these. These things are really expensive. They're like $30. And that's for the single piece. And then there's a second piece over here that goes to the intake. So yeah, these things they're not cheap. But that's the basics on PowerGrips. And like I said, these are going to go on the radiator hose. We'll take the writing off these. So we take the worm gear off on both sides of the radiator hose. We'll pull the radiator hose off the top end, slide this first one down, get him heated and in place. And then we'll slide the second one on, put the hose on, back on the radiator, heat this guy in place. Then we never have to touch them again. They will continually, every time they heat up, they clamp down. So, and they stay clamped down. So the more you heat it, the more it just keeps trying to clamp. And I read the specs on these. These are good to 350 degrees. I think it was it 150 degrees Celsius? Yeah, it's 150 degrees Celsius and minus 40 Celsius. These clamps work in a lot of weather. So you're okay with all that. That's about it with the hose clamps. And just to let you guys know, I do have an email to Gates suggesting multi-packs. So you can get, 2 of these or 4 of these in a pack, along with, 2 of these and 4 of the small ones, however they want to mix and match them. And then the other thing they can do is leave it on a roll like this and do like sticks, just do a stick of 4 or a stick of 6. And then people can just buy sticks. And that makes it a lot easier. They don't have to cut, like all these are cut individually. So they'll, put it on, then they'll cut it, and they'll do the next one, cut it. And instead they could let 4 go through. There you go. So hopefully they can package this a little bit better so that you can have kind of a variety pack in the shop when you have like the motorcycle for, I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me see if it shows up. There is a hose clamp right here on the motorcycle. Now it's not in the way of my leg or anything like that, but if I could use one of these, I would, because I know it's always going to stay clamped down and I don't have to worry about my pants catching on it or anything else. It's a nice smooth clamp, and it's always tight. So if you had a variety of these, you could change out, whenever you're changing out hoses or whatever, you could change out the clamps as well. So that was my email to Gates, and hopefully they can put packs together. I don't expect anything. I'm going to keep buying them individually, and I'll try and buy like 2 or 3 at a time and save shipping. Hopefully the company's cool and they'll put them in one package. But also, you're going to have to go, if you're going to do the variety pack, you're going to have to go between Amazon and eBay. Some sizes are on Amazon, some sizes are on eBay. So I had to go to 2 different places to get all these different sizes. Just the 3 different sizes, I had to go to 2 different places. That part kind of sucks, and that's why I want them to do a variety pack. So the good news is we'll have the Miata back together. We should have it back together tomorrow, just in time for the cold weather. And tomorrow night I'll be back, and I'll show you guys all of these hose clamps in place, and we'll do. It's hard to see the power steering ones because they're so deep down there. I'll probably do the radiator ones with you guys, like start to finish, so you can see exactly how to do it. Like, we're starting with regular hose clamps, and then we're going to end up with PowerGrips on the Miata. So, yeah, thanks, Denise. I think that's a good way to do it. Yeah, pretend you're just popping your hood and you want to replace the hose clamps. That'll be the good way to do it. And that's about it for tonight. So I apologize for the lateness, you guys, and hopefully the good news. We're going to be installing the air hose or the air compressor and the reel. I have to go. You guys can you guys see that string? You guys can see this string? This actually pulls down. There you go. You can see that. And that's how I go up to the attic. And the air line will be run from the outside through the attic and over to the ceiling here in the garage. So be able to have a nice clean installation setup. You're not walking across a bunch of lines on the floor. There's nothing running along the walls because this is all concrete. So drilling into this is really difficult. Any of the exterior walls is really hard. So that's why we're mounting to the ceiling, because I have wood beams I can mount to, and they'll be plenty strong. I could mount it to the wall, but it would take a lot more and some big ass Tapcons that I don't really want to use. Tapcons are concrete screws. Anyway, we'll have air in here, which would be really nice, and it would be quiet in the shop because the air compressor, not only is it inherently quiet with how it's built, but it'll also be outside and it'll be enclosed. So we shouldn't hear any air, the air compressor fire back on, or, the only thing we'll hear is the zoomer taking lug nuts off or filling tires or whatever. So hopefully we have a nice air compressor setup that'll be quiet and doesn't blow out your guys' speakers. So what else we got? Yeah, it'll be a pretty simple setup, but it should be nice for you guys too, because you don't have to, we don't have to wait. Like if you're here at the shop, normally when an air compressor fires up in a shop, you have to wait, and then you'll finish your sentence once the compressor is full. So we don't want to do that. That's why we have the compressor outside. At my shop in Ohio, the compressor's in shed out behind the shop, and it makes life so much better. So much better when you don't have to stop a sentence for the air compressor to fire on. So we'll have a cool little setup here. We can also use the air jack, which is a big thing. I love using that thing, especially for getting the Miata up. It works great on the Viper too, because the Viper is very, very low, and that thing goes super low. So I get the air jack going. That's a really, really big step. So thanks everyone for hanging out tonight. Hopefully we'll finish up the hose clamps tomorrow. I'll get that cloth tape so I can do that one PCV, and then the booster hoses I'll already have installed, and you can see how they look installed with older hose. And then with the new hose, I already showed you guys how it went on the new hose. It's a very tight fit. The difference between 3/8 and 10 millimeters is the difference. I mean, Gates has pretty tight tolerances. So, but the trick is to lube up the hose and like kind of screw on the PowerGrips when you have it that tight. If it's too tight, go to the next size up. You got about 2 millimeters, 3 millimeters to work with. So go to the next size up. It should work. If it's going to be that tight, it should work okay. So that's why we need variety packs, so we can test this stuff and find out which one works. Cool. So thanks everyone for hanging out tonight. I really appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm not sure what time. With any good fortune in the afternoon, I can do one. And if you guys want to, you can watch later on in the evening. I might save it for evening because a lot of people are off work. We'll finish off. I'll get all the other stuff done, and then we'll finish off with the radiator hose in the evening. How does that sound? Does that sound like a good plan? I have none of this planned out. Like I said, I'm not paid for any of this. This is me doing cool stuff, and you guys enjoy it. So I'm glad you enjoy it. That makes me feel good. Cool. Again, thanks for hanging out tonight. And thank you for subscribing and telling your friends about the channel and all of that. I love seeing that the email messages pop up that I have a new subscriber, and that's really great. So I appreciate it. And thanks everyone for your messages. I've got a few questions from other videos, from a couple of the last videos that I do need to go and answer. So I'll take care of you guys as soon as I get there. And don't forget to show someone that you love them today. Give them a kiss on the cheek. Give them a kiss on the tip of their nose. Oh my God, what happened to my hair? Do you care anymore? All right, I'll get a haircut tomorrow. All right, fine. Give me a kiss on the cheek. Give me a kiss on the tip of their nose. Hold their hand. Give it a squeeze. Fluff their hair up. It's really important for them, but it is far more important for you. All right, thanks everyone. I will catch you tomorrow night. Cool.